about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.
That was a great sounds of Watson with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, E.Z. Bluez is in the building. Easy Bluez, you're better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this moment to truly celebrate the broadcaster, to truly celebrate the type of people that like to get inside someone's mind and see how it goes. I would like to say they go behind the brand, they can go behind the wheel, they can go behind an actual idea and help create those things. And not only that, but then they'll turn around and help you build up what you want to do next. For that is such an amazing gift. And we are honored today to have the incredible Derek Oxley from Behind the Wheel on our podcast radio show right now. Thank you, Derek, for being here. We truly appreciate you.
Oh my God, that's what an incredible. I'm humbled. You set the bar like really high, man. Now, all of a sudden I feel all this pressure. But thank you guys so much for having me. If I start sweating, it's because the AC is not on, man. Because I'm nervous. Let's just go with I'm nervous, man. You guys set the bar really high. I appreciate you all having me on the show, man. Thank you.
Definitely, well, we appreciate you being here, man. And honestly, we really appreciate what you do. We do kind of something in a similar vein, but you've been doing this now since 2007, helping to motivate and grow and understand what an entrepreneur truly is. We talk about it a lot on the show, but I'd like to get your definition, and I'd like our audience to know what you feel a true entrepreneur is.
I came across this this definition on a T-shirt, right? It says it's a crazy person, crazy enough to follow their dreams. That's what an entrepreneur is. Yeah, you know, they're just crazy because you have to be, I think a crazy person. Because you're constantly going to be talking to yourself, this has got to work, or it's got to work. You've got to be able to get yourself up in the morning, you know what I mean, and keep going. There's this constant internal dialogue, and you might almost seem crazy if you're not, to the onlookers, like, what are you talking about? Like, people are going to be making money off of their cellular devices? Are you serious? You got to be kidding me. I'm going to stick with my house phone. I'm not going to get this smartphone and do anything with it, But yeah, I think that's what an entrepreneur is for me.
And definitely, man, you've been doing it. I've just seen like recent interviews, and you will go above and beyond to talk to that person. It can be Zoom, or it can even be face to face, because you're taking advantage right now. I saw you at the Change in the Air Festival, just talking to Jamal Robinson just about his product, and just going back and forth and going to different schools and everywhere too. What drove that itch? What makes you just want to go out there and just explore and tell people different parts of CT?
It's one is like, I grew up in New York, right?
Right.
So when I think of like New York rappers, right,
Mm-hmm.
you think of how you just kind of see anything that's possible, right? Right around the corner from me was Fab Five Freddy, and he lived right growing up. So my best friend, his brother and Fab hung out together. Mm-hmm. So, as a shorty, you're smoking what is legalized marijuana now was not legalized back then. And so You're under the influence. This older cat is talking to you. He's going to be on Blondie's record, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm at the time, like, I don't know who Blondie is. I know they talk about the garage. Hip hop is just starting out. Fab was not a rapper. Right. But Fab had this ability to go and talk to someone and say to them, hey, listen, man, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, he's on the mic talking, right? They've given him the mic, they give him the space, and to just see what's possible, right? And so you see, how hip hop started and it grew and it emerged. And I think about Connecticut and talk to some of the artists, you find out like there's some incredible artists here in CT, whether it's entrepreneurs or you have an artist, literal artists doing their thing. Some people feel as though I have to go someplace else in order. I got to go to New York, or the scene now is out here. And I got to go to that place. I'm like, I don't believe that. I believe that they're if you've got it, cream rises to the top. So let's just be clear. So if you feel as though I have to go someplace else to make it, then go ahead, go. Because now you're going to a bigger market, right? And if you feel as though with your talent that you currently have, your talent is not going to elevate any faster someplace else, I'm gonna put you in this bigger market, and now if you're not secure in what you have, the pressure is going to be even more. So just to be able to highlight, look, this person is doing this. Oh, you see this person over here, they're doing that. How many more of these examples can you see? Right here is just going to pull up on me. And then, I just want to eliminate the excuses. Right. So it's not, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could do a bear fest. Like, I didn't know I could start a company. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. So yeah, that's the itch that kind of drove me. And I came to it in sort of like a roundabout way, right?
Right.
So you think of, I was in this dark space at first with Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, right? So we're playing in the middle of a two-way street, and this cat is running down the street, black guy, shorts on, like the Hoochie Daddy shorts, right? And so he's and I'm like, okay, we're in the middle of the street playing stickball, football, or whatever. This cat is running down the middle of the street, shorts on, no top. So I'm turning around. I'm like, where is he? Is somebody chasing him? Because we didn't run unless it was, you were doing suicides in prep for punishment on the basketball court, or you're doing something. We didn't just run just for the sake of running. You know what I mean? And so I moved to Connecticut, and you see people, just jogging all over the place. Like this is just a thing that they do. And for 2 years, my sister was like, yo, you should try this running. She was on this weight loss journey. You should try this running. You should try this running. And for 2 years, I tell you, I put it all off. Like, what do I need to do? Tell me about this running thing. Like, what is it about? What am I doing? Right. For 2 years, I put it off. One day I decide on a lark, yo, I'm gonna go down. I was living downtown Bridgeport, and I'm going to, you know what? I'm gonna pull a pair of Reebok zigzags. Remember those Reebok zigzags with the little squiggly lines on the bottom? Yes. So I had a pair with the orange, yo, and I picked those joints up. They weren't running shoes, but I put them on, and I was doing this stretching. I know I stretched more than I actually ran. Right. I made it all the way around the block. I called up Yvonne. I went running. And she was like, yeah, for real? How far did you go? I said,
silence.
That's it? That's as far as you went? Like around? Yo, that was all I could do. My body was rebelling, man. Like I hadn't run. I hadn't worked out. I hadn't done anything. You get on this path where you just work, right? And I'm from the Caribbean, so they got this thing where you work hard. I don't know if you remember Heyman and 7 Jobs, and we take pride in saying
in living color, yes.
Living color, So, I'm telling my age, but you took pride in saying, like, I worked 2 jobs. And war is a badge of honor. How many jobs you got? Like, this was real. I'm like, I'm not trying to work that hard now. I'm not lazy, but I'm like, okay, I worked 2 jobs, went to school, was doing this, trying to raise a family, and like, yo, wait a second. This is not working out. And I didn't come to, I've read this Stephen Covey's book, right? And he talks about climbing the ladder of success and realize it's leaning against the wrong building. So I was like, So after hitting rock bottom, I start running, and I realize you start to tap back into your purpose, right? You figure like the time on the clock is running out. Yo, what am I going to be doing? Do I want to be in this corporate gig? Retail management. I ran a dropout prevention program, moved up the ranks. Was the senior case manager.
Did it feel like a hamster wheel?
Huh? Yeah, like definitely like a hamster on the wheel, man. Just going through the motion. Like I don't even remember. It felt a hamster on the wheel. You remember Bill Murphy's movie?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one? Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Yeah, it was the same thing.
Seemed like
every day. Yeah.
Every day is the same thing. Like, yo, decades go by. I'm like, yo, wait a second. Life is just the calendar is just short and it's going. Like, what am I doing? Like, this is what have I done? Like, yo, sugar, this is not working. This is not working. And I started after running and doing my first marathon, and there's a black guy, white guy, and a Puerto Rican guy standing in the Home Depot. So when I say this, it sounds like a joke. It's not a joke. It's like for real, right? So this black guy, white guy, and a Puerto Rican guy standing in the Home Depot, right? The Puerto Rican guy is a customer. The white guy is actually one of my colleagues. Mm-hmm. We're still friends to this day. This is like 2010, right? They tell me the Puerto Rican guy, he's got an issue with his kitchen. So I come out, I'm doing my management thing. You know how they tell you to say a person's name, so you have the name. Hi, this is, so I look at, they tell me his name is Carlos. I go out, say, hey, Carlos, how you doing? My name is Derek. I'm here to assist you. I understand you got a problem, Carlos. So now I'm like checking off how many times I've said Carlos's name.
Oh, is it a little freeze frame.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, a little freeze frame, little freeze, but it was a good teaser.
You're back.
Carlos had stopped, but you're back.
You're like Carlos.
Smiling face now.
Yo, and so Carlos, after this guy gets upset.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yo, you don't understand. I'm like, why is he getting upset? This wasn't in the manual. Like, I've said his name. Yo, his name is Miguel.
Oh, no.
You don't understand. You keep calling me Carlos, and my name is Miguel. We do this marathon, man. And he gets over it. We sort out the issue. We do this marathon. Right. 5 hours and 25 minutes later, I cross the finish line. I get back to the car and I'm checking my messages. They've already went on with their day. Hey, Derek, what's going on? Hey, Derek, we're going to grocery shopping. Hey, Derek, we're back from. I'm like, you know what? I stopped listening to the messages. I crossed the finish line. There's this white woman in front of me, and she's got on a peach top, peach shades. Don't even look like her hair is out of place. Black tights, and I'm behind her looking like a hot mess. And it's through this running journey that I found like a community, right? They're not that many black people who run, and you start to see that you get there's a clarity,
right?
It's meditative, right? I'm not trying to. I sound like a running ambassador, Usually I tell somebody about running, they say, "Yeah, I would, man, but my knees." I'm like, I'm not trying to sell you on this. I feel like a Jehovah's Witness, get this pamphlet. I'm not knocking on the door easy, right? But it changed my life. You know what I mean? At a point where I needed it. So I just go out for long runs, right? Going through this process. You're talking about, I hadn't run. The furthest I had run was like 10 miles when I was talking with Sean and Miguel. But after that,
mentally, how was it for you?
Yo, crazy. Like there's this, you started tapping into my creativity. You're talking about writing. So for 2 years straight, right? I would write. And I would do these what I called weekly race recaps. Where, I would write and rap. Now, I'm not a rapper, right?
It could be poetry though.
Poetry, right? Poetry, so when I say there was these, you get hurt, and so I understood. I was like, yo, what is it like? So you're thinking about all the feelings. It was journaling. I'm writing these things down, even before I started thinking I'm going to do these weekly race recaps. So you have all these things in your phone. What am I going to do with this? I said, maybe I'll create a beat. So I'm trying to create some beats. So, music and through this whole process, I wrote my way out of hell. Right. And so each week for 2 years straight, I would do these weekly race recaps. And it was a way of connecting. So talking about running, right? So I treated it like a writing exercise. How many crack records have you heard, or how many drug deal, I be slinging rock, blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
I lost count.
I lost
count. Yeah.
I can't, I love rap music. So I said, oh, but how many, I heard that story.
Yeah.
Right. So after hearing this story, okay, I know how the story is going to end. Right.
Right.
It's predictable. I'm not going to go see another Titanic movie. I know the ship is going to crash. It's going down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I know how this is going to end. So I'm curious about your story. So in running, I realized, you know what? I want to hear your story. And so I started with these weekly race recaps, and then it went into finding out about stories, so interviewing marathoners, and then there's triathletes, and understanding that mindset is what attracted me. So I'd have somebody like, yo, pre-Zoom, I didn't know about Zoom. I'm just ignorant enough to say.
Now, just before we go to Zoom, I know I've been reading that you started out from your phone. So when you were doing those interviews with the marathoners and like just different other unique and extraordinary people, were you doing that just through your phone when you were just starting out with those recaps?
Just from the phone.
That's crazy.
Just from the phone. So
that's crazy.
I'm a practitioner, right? So I'm listening to big Gary V fan. 07, Gary V. I'm a senior center manager at FedEx Kinko's, right? And I remember talking to a district manager, like, yo, we should do a podcast. And he was like, nah, we're not doing no podcast. I'm like, you're sending CDs, you're pressing up CDs. Okay, you got the points of distribution. You can send these out to the different locations. But the cost that's attached to it just didn't make any sense to me. And he was like, nah. I'm like, all right, they have a podcast now, FedEx. I'm like, okay, go figure. So I like, you have to be okay with being early on some things and just double down. Like, so what y'all are doing is incredible, man. And just kind of doubling down on it, especially like now as we move into this recession and how people are like, yo, I don't know what's gonna happen, and just seeing the possibilities, man, all from your phone. Like I'm not a videographer, right? I'm not but I learned how to do this. I taught myself. So okay, I'm going to YouTube University. Okay, do what? Ken Burns? Who's Ken? Is that that's a guy? I'm like, yo, that's a guy. I had no idea what this was. Like, yo, are you serious? I would have the person, look, you're gonna have to use two phones. Put one phone in front of you, right? And you think about Kevin Gates, one for the plug, one for the load, or whatever. You needed that other phone to record yourself, just as we're doing it. This is live, right?
Right.
Record it, and I'm going to talk with you, and I'm gonna have my headphone in so I can hear you, and I'm gonna just treat it like this is a live session, and then send me the video afterwards, right? Send me the video afterwards, and I'm gonna try. I don't even know how much memory was on this, but it would be I would be deleting apps. Yo, I would have to delete apps.
Now that's the phone you used?
This is the phone that
that's
I use.
Crazy. That's crazy. So that's for sentimental value. So how long you wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, you see how thick it is, right? It's small. Like the screen is like I could put this is like in the palm of my hand, yo. And then so it was I didn't want it to be excuses. Right. And so I wanted to feel like one of my favorite authors, Malcolm Gladwell, right? He talks about this thing where JFK went into this crash, right?
Right.
And he wanted to know why he crashed. So he put himself in this spiral dive. So he wanted to go into a plane, got a pilot, and had somebody put him through this whole thing. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. What is it like? Like, what is the mindset of an artist? So if they have to create something from nothing, right? The belief that you have to have in yourself as an artist, putting out content every week, dropping content. Like, how am I going to get somebody to listen to me? Yo, was this okay? How many takes do you have to do?
Yeah.
Like just it's just like, okay, wait a second. I don't know about Pro Tools, so I'm just going to use what I have.
Yeah, but that's the crazy part. A lot of people don't see it that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people just think you just go in there, talk, press play, and just have this conversation. A lot of people don't know the behind the scenes work when it comes to interviewing. What do I want to know about this person? What are these particular stuff that people are not really asking this person? Like, you really want to go outside the box when it comes to talking to people. It's not just, there's a difference between random conversation and an interview. And I really think you can agree to this. And it's just so hard to, you get it. You definitely know what I'm saying. Like, you definitely really do get it. It's really hard, but easy. I see you pointing up your finger. Go right ahead, buddy.
Because I wanted to kind of parlay off of that, because we have to understand that as a society, we are a consumer-based society. So most people just want to see the end product. All they care about is the end product themselves. That's what they've been programmed to care about. That's why we can get stuck sitting in Groundhog's Day for a long point of time, because we are just fed consumerism. You need to be the consumer. You know, they had the Dolly Parton song, Working 9 to 5. This is all programmed within ourselves, you know, so that everything can work in a normal society. This is one hand washing the other to build someone else's dream. We tell people on the show all the time, if you are working for somebody else's dream and you are in love with it, go and do that. We're not going to pro-assault and not hustle. But if you can really find it in yourself, start working for your own dream, it is a whole different aspect. Is it harder? Yes. Do people think you're crazy? Definitely. You know, when you're taking a step outside the norm. And I wanted to really, for your story, Derek, I mean, it is the perfect metaphor of what you were talking about as we enter the show, about not going outside into a bigger demographic or a harder, bigger market until you are ready. If you are called out from that smaller market because you are that good and your art is that good, you're in demand to go into that next market, go there. It is the perfect metaphor for how you started, because you started running and you only started running around your block. I don't know if, you know, I want our listener to understand you walked the walk literally.
On WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ Bluez is in the building. Behind the brand, talking to behind the wheel, Derek Oxley is with us on the show. Why that name?
Behind the wheel, it literally started behind the wheel of my Mini Cooper. I had a Mini Cooper, and I would just get up in the morning, and I was living in Wally World, Connecticut. You know where Wally World is?
I like that. Yes, yeah.
Wally
I like
World.
how you flipped it. Yeah.
My good friend Nancy was like, "Yo," I told her like I wanted to live closer to my job.
Right.
At the time. She's like, "Okay, I got you." So she found me this little spot. It was the studio. That's where I created all of the stuff. And after I moved there, she's like, "Yo, I just want you to know the Ku Klux Klan used to meet in the town hall." It's like, oh, okay, this is a bit of information that might have been good to know before I moved out here, right? Nancy's good people, black. Nancy's white. Nancy has Alzheimer's now, and
okay. Oh man,
good friend. We're still in contact.
Right.
And so when she said it, it was like, okay, I just laughed, and we just kind of went with it, you know. And so the store I would get in Wally World down the block, they actually had cows. You know, there were like 2 cows. This is my running route. You know,
right.
They had cow. So you think about like Rick Ross, like just bought a cow, right? And
I
so
saw that. Yeah,
they had cows down the block. So I'm from Brooklyn, man. I ain't seen no cows in Brooklyn. I don't know any Brooklyn cows. So you pass by this farm, right? They've got cows. They have some trailer parks in Wally. I'm like, yo, I ain't never seen no trailer park. Okay, this is different. And then they have this Dunkin' Donuts that's like right there, right? And so you're literally like less than a quarter mile.
Did that have to be the cleanest Dunkin' Donuts you've been in?
Yo, that Dunkin' Donuts right now, the Dunkin' Donuts was like it was the ish. When I tell you they had a guy in there, I'm still in contact with him, right?
Yeah.
And so when I'm going to be doing a TED Talk, I'm like speaking it into existence. There was a shift supervisor in there. When I tell you, you talk about somebody who you can tell a lot. I swear you can tell a lot about a person by how they sweep, right? If you can't sweep, it's a wrap for you. I mean, pack it up. I don't know. You can just like you don't have any idea like how this broom is supposed like like what are you doing? And the way he just would move, detail it did. He was a shift supervisor, but it was a young guy. So it wasn't on this, I'm the boss, ain't nobody here, the manager's not here, I'm the one running the show right now. And I could just no, yo, he treated that place like this was like his home. Was the shop, like his home. Yeah. Like he was the shop owner outside. You know, you come outside and they have this scene and the guy is sweeping outside the restaurant, putting the sign out, turning it on. You know, this was his shop. He is now he now has his own barbershop.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, that's cool.
So he's an educator and he's an entrepreneur, but he started his mindset was, yo, I'm gonna treat this like this is my own. right? So the story was just, I'm just on my drive in the morning behind the wheel, and this was the routine. So you go there so often, they know your order, right?
Right.
And so you don't even have to ask.
I love that.
Yo, that's this. So now that's a hook you, right? Because you don't have to ask. So now you just come in, you pull up to the counter, you don't say nothing. The person behind you is like, okay, he didn't say anything. They just know the order. Like I do it when I go, like if my sister's ever with me, I'm like, yo, watch this. And she's like, yo, you ain't saying that. It's like, yo, that's don't hate. Like I would pull up through the drive-through, and so they already know my order, right? Wow. And so you don't say anything, and you're having this conversation, and somebody was like, yo, I used to ride with you, but then you started getting these sponsors. I'm like, what sponsors? Like just to people's perception, like I don't have any sponsors at the time. Like I'm just going through the drive-through, easy, yo. So I'm like, yo, what you upset? Like because I had, if that was the case, because I had a sponsor? Like no, I if I didn't like D&D, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Yo, don't get mad because they know my order. Like if you come there frequently, they might know your order too. I'll tell you.
The benefits.
So that's how I got the name, man. The benefits,
man. Tell me about just your interactions just teaching, because I've been just looking through some of your stuff. You really talk about the enjoyment of just teaching people just different ways of broadcasting and just like the basic fundamentals of a microphone. Tell me about your experiences with that.
I realized like listening is hard. Listening is hard for a dude. Like when I was married, I'm divorced now. When I was married, like I didn't, like I could listen, and as a dude, you might be able to attest to this. Like I'm solution oriented, right? So after you tell me, you state like what the problem is, boom, I want to go. I'm already starting to think solution, right? So I'm not listening for, how you felt, how it made you feel, what you were thinking. Like I don't, like this is the problem. You just told me this problem. I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do, babe. Let's go ahead. I'm on solution. Like women people don't operate like that. Like there's a feeling like, how does this make me look? Do these jeans make me look fat? No, the jeans don't make you look fat, babe. You might need to, that's not the right answer. And like, I'm not that bright. Like I learned the hard way, like through experience, like just making a bunch of bad choices, right? Decisions, not listening. Listening is hard. Listening to respond is easy. Like you said something, boom, I got to fire off a quick response, and okay, but I didn't hear anything like the intent, like what you're thinking about. Like, why did you do it? Like you saying born in Long Island. I'm curious, like what part of Long Island? Like raised in Long Island. What part? Elm Street's very own. Like, tell me about this story. I'm curious about that tat. What is that tat about? He's a huge, y'all are huge Star Wars fans. I'm like, I'm curious. Like, how does this black guy and this white guy in this world that we live in now, like they got a show together? What is the deal? Like, I'm curious about that. What's that vibe like? Like, I'm not a Trekkie fan. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but there's something about that's a niche. You know what I mean? There's a, like, now I'm curious. I'm just now become, after realizing like, this microphone, your voice is a tool.
It is.
Like it's a tool.
It is.
Right? Like I had no clue. I didn't know I have an accent. So born in Barbados, like you have an accent, you're talking like this, and you understand me, and that. And so now the teacher would I think the teacher did this like intentionally, count to 3, and she would sit there, her mouth would salivate, his mouth would salivate, because they knew it was going to happen, right? It's just, as soon as I got to 3, it was going to be tree, and then the whole class would erupt. 1, 2, 3. And it drove my landlord, who was from Barbados, also, it drove her crazy. Like my cousin's name was Frank, and I couldn't say Frank. I would say Shank, right? Shank. And his name is Frank. Say Frank. And I would say Shank. Shank. Like, I don't know if part of me was not just doing it intentionally or whatever. She got upset. She told my parents, so put him in speech therapy. So now I'm in speech therapy, right? So now I can say 1, 2, 3, right? And so now my friends, the accent is gone, and then you come outside. Oh, he think he white. I'm like, wait a second.
Oh, I hate that.
Like, I went through all this. All of this, and now you tell me I'm thinking. Wait a second. You know. So now I'm inside. I got the accent, right? So you a kid. You got the elderly people come around, or you. Hey, Miss Harris, how you? Your voice change goes up a couple of octaves. Now you're in the barber shop. You got that barber shop talk, because you can't be. Listen, it's different, right? So now I didn't know it's code switch. I didn't know that was a word.
Me either, until late.
Yeah,
I didn't know code switching until my 30s. It's crazy. Like it's just so crazy. Yeah. It's
just something that we do naturally. So now, shut up. I find some sort of common ground, and you're able to enter into different spaces. And I can't say it's because of it's something that I do intentionally now. And it helps people relax. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't have a hidden agenda. Like, your story is important to me because what you're doing, I think, matters.
Right.
And because I think that it matters, then you kind of get a sense of that, right? So I pull up on this guy. He's an entrepreneur. Out of the back of his van, what caught my eye was you could tell he's meticulous. Like, all of he's got towels in the back of his van, right? But they're color coordinated. They're coordinated, right? They're not like all over the place. They're like, there's like a row. So that grabbed that's what, because I seen a mobile van before, right? He had water bottles like on the side. This is the guy that I'm not gonna throw this jar away, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the garage and screw this in, and then I'm going to use this as a container. And he's got several of these, like, it's he's one of those guys, right? So I'm like, at first he was a little apprehensive. Now, after I'm geeking over, his bottles and excited, and he starts showing me like the remote. He's got a remote in his joint. Then he's telling me about the light, right? I'm ready to go. He's still pointing out stuff to me. Look, there's a ladder underneath. You got a ladder? And this is just a mobile business, right? He's a mobile entrepreneur. This is just what he does part-time. He washes cars, but to be able to look at a space in the back of a Ford vehicle, and he's got every space like occupied and utilized. I'm like, that's something special. That's different. That's different. And so if I can get young people to realize, like, I can get comfortable talking, because everybody ain't a gangster.
Right.
I know everybody. I know you ate dog poop because you thought you was a gangster. Something came up wrong with the money, and they made you eat dog poop. For real. True story. Right? True story. And that story, this is 80s. And I still remember that. And so back then, you wasn't a gangster. Lonzo wasn't a gangster, but he felt as though some people feel the pressure. I got to do this because this is what they, I want to be cool. I want to be liked. I want, I want the big car. Okay. You can get the big car being an entrepreneur. You can do that legally.
On your own terms.
On your own terms. Oh, I can? Yeah. You don't have to go to jail and get shot and then become a rapper, and then now you're trying to tell me something like that. No, they need to see more examples of people who look like you.
That's why representation matters.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You could say that. You need to drop an air horn. I don't have an air horn or some applause. That right.
I'm saving up for a soundboard. I want a soundboard so bad. Oh my goodness! I went to Guitar Center one day, and it was just so much money. It was like 3 paychecks into one. I was like, soundboards would be really good. But let's go back to the broadcasting. Actually, the podcasting in general. You helped a lot of people start their own podcast. How does that feel?
It's incredible, because it's part of it is your story living through their story, right? Like they're starting. Like
Right.
some people feel as though like if you let them tell it, they pull themselves up from the bootstraps, and while they did it by themselves. And so you see, like there's a library, right? So after you read a couple of books, you listen to some audios, CDs, you start to see some common themes, and you realize you lying. Stop. I've heard that. Stop. Don't lie to people. Like there's so much information. We're not at a shortage of information. So if you get on, right? Now I can't, somebody may not be interested in what I'm doing, but you know what? They see you. You look like them. Your story aligns with them. Now, okay. Now they're listening to you. That's cool. Right. It doesn't take anything away from me. Like, we together and you winning. I'm like, yo, give it up for so and so. Da 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 da. Some people would be like, that was. And that's okay. If that's what you like, I know I'll identify that there's this thing like micro expressions, right? You can see it you can see a little bit, it comes out and you're like, yo, what happened? And then there's just some people that's just genuinely excited for you.
Yep.
And there's just some people that they just don't, they have a scarcity mentality, and you have people who have an abundance mentality. Like whatever you have, like my objective, I'm not trying to convert you into, I'm out of the convincing business. At one point I was trying to convince people of stuff, right? I waste a lot of energy trying, listen, we should try this. You should really do this. And I'm trying to, no, that's not my job. But to get to see someone, this is what you need to do. I got a free thing in my bio, about the equipment. You can get equipment, what you need. You can just do it right off your phone, truth be told. Just Anchor. Just with Anchor, and you off to the races, right? Right. You off to the races, and you figure out the rest later as you go along. So if I figured out something, it's gonna help accelerate your growth, right? That's my thing.
Do you think it's crazy that there's so many options and so many platforms now, but not too many people see potential in themselves to use those options?
Yeah, because Easy said, it's consume, right? So part of it is fear, and I think the smarter you are, you come up with great excuses for yourself. You convince yourself. If you just don't know, like I didn't know that get a phone, I'm gonna do a picture in picture. I didn't know Zoom existed, right? I knew video recording, but I knew like I'm not going to, but I don't even know if FedEx still had those facilities. And I knew it would cost to be able to go and rent. Like I didn't know there was an app. So I just didn't know. I had a friend, he's the founder of the Black Triathlon Association, right? He's into video, and he's like, I was trying to figure out how to do this thing, and you just did it. And because I didn't know, right? So if you don't know, we automatically just start thinking solution. And young people, so trying to convince adults of stuff like, this is a business. This is a smartphone. Some people do dumb-ish on it, but this is a business. Right? It's a tool.
Absolutely.
It's a tool. So if you use it as a tool, and a young person just knows like, this is a tool, like they're just gonna believe. Like you can do a business from this. I'm gonna show you real quick. Watch. Boom, 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 boom. Here. Oh wow, we just did that. Yeah, we just did that. What else could we do? We could do voiceovers. Really? You write the book. You like to draw. Boom. You're an illustrator? Oh, wow. Now you're doing the illustration for the book. It's an ebook. It's a digital product, right? And now you're doing the voiceover. You want to add some music in it. That's a thing. That's a thing? That's a business? Nah, I got to wait and see. You're waiting for permission. Because you usually have to wait for somebody's permission. You get up on the radio station. How do I get my message out there?
Yeah, I was told to in broadcasting school that permission is the worst quality. You just have to go ahead and just do it. And they said forgiveness is better than permission.
Yeah, that's that thing. That's that thing. That's that. Yeah. Do it first, ask for permission later.
Yeah, man. Because at the end of the day, you're still gonna have a valuable lesson out of it. and it can help you. You know, it can lead to plenty of opportunities. Speaking of these opportunities, we did talk about podcasts a little bit earlier. What are some of the names of these podcasts that you help grew beside your own?
The Twin Experience.
Twin Experience. Okay.
There's and is these two sisters. Man, there's so many now that I've seen the faces, right?
Right, I got
the names of the shows. There's a couple of runners in Atlanta, the Run Duo. Man, it is. Yeah, I actually have a couple of them. I have a couple of them. I did a snippet where I invited them on, you know, to how you started your show, and so some of those people are actually on that episode. It's just like I've been doing this like since 20. Like I got into podcasting, thought about it like 2007, started taking it seriously in like 2015, like started like creating content.
And we actually started taking this show seriously in 2020 on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ Bluez is in the building. Derek Oxley is with us on Behind the Brand as he talks about behind the wheel and his story. Derek, go right ahead. I don't mean to lose your train of thought.
No, it's all good. I like the segue, man. I like how you queued that up.
He's so smooth with it.
That was smooth, yeah. That was smooth. Yeah, so it's a lot of them, you know, we did this episode to just kind of show people the range of shows that you could do. A lot of them were still like running related, and you know, people reach out to you, and I realized that I have a good heart, right? And so as you try to build this brand and you're building your brand, it's a business. Right, it's a business. Like you can spend. People will hit you up, yo, how you do so and so, da 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 da. Like Google is. Did you try that? It's like you want personal one-off counseling, or that's. I'm a coach. Like I can assist you with that.
Of course,
but there's a fee that's attached to that, right? Because now you imagine everybody, you'd never get anything done, right? So it's easy, and I don't think people recognize that. You're providing a service, right? So as you continue to grow and scale, y'all continue to grow and scale this brand that you're building, like you want exposure. How do you think the lights stay on? There are two y'all two guys, so you got a team, so you're splitting the duties, right?
Of course.
There's at least 6 or 7 hats that you have to wear to produce a show.
You do, yes.
And that's conservative. That's conservative, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about growing this brand, like that's conservative, right? Like I'm like I said, you almost have to be a crazy person. Shout out to Messing About Kalila Wright for her shirt, yo. When you think of that, you're wearing several hats. So somebody's got a book. Somebody's got to reach out, book the guest, right? So we're going to confirm that that's a booking agent. That's their job. All they do is just book guests. That's so.
Wait, they have those?
They have those. Yo, easy. So I wanted this guest on the show, right? And I reached out to her people, and she said, reach out to this guy. So I reached out to him, and he tells me, yo, you know, Jessica would love to be on the show. You know, just send her your Calendly. And I'm like, okay, I'll send her my Calendly. I'm like, what's a Calendly? I don't know what Calendly is. But I'm like, word. Okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
and now I got to go Google it. Calendly. Oh, there's an app.
Yeah.
Oh, I can just, what? There's an app for that? Yo, that's my personal assistant, because I'm trying to remember. I'm shooting you a message. Would you like to be on the show? What works for you? I don't know. Send me back. This works. What time? That's a lot. Yo, I got Calendly. I was like, yo, man, I'm big time that boy. Here, hold on a second. Now, you know, I'm gonna send you my Calendly. I'm gonna send you my, so you can book. That's just a booking agent, right? Now you link it to Zoom. It shoots them a link. I don't have to do that. That's one less thing that I don't have to worry about, because you're trying to juggle all of this stuff. And when did I say I was going to do this? Did I put it in? That's not my sweet spot. That's not my sweet. And you got to be okay with saying that's not my. I have no desire to be an administrative assistant. That is some people who do that incredibly well.
Right.
That's what they do. They know somebody's got to go out there and get some sales.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody's got to go out there and get some sales.
Of course.
We're not even talking about somebody has to. What equipment are we using? Like I don't have the AC on because I don't want to screw up your audio. Right. Because you realize, okay, now I'm editing in the post production. Yo, what's that noise? That's the fan.
Yeah.
Yo, do me a favor. You gotta have a headphone. Why do I need a headphone? Yo, because I don't want the audio. I don't want to spend all your time. Right. I want it to be a nice audio experience for the audience. It's not for me. It's for the audience. So put some headphones in. Right. So that way I don't have this echo. Because now I spent all this time. I'm sitting in this hot box of a car behind the wheel. Right. You in there, and now I got this echo, and you're wondering like, why didn't I post it? Because the audio sound like crap. Right. So now there's an engineer, there's an editor. Somebody's got to do the copy. Somebody's got to market it. Somebody's got to promote it.
Yes.
Somebody has to actually do the research. We got to fact check this guy. We got to. But there's only two. Like, how do y'all divide up the division of labor? Right. So now you did all of that. Right. So you invited a guest onto the show.
Right.
And you just starting out. So all of that time and effort, that's work, right? You didn't get paid.
No.
You don't have any sponsors yet.
Wait, they do that?
Nah.
So now you're like,
you have to have a genuine love of doing this. You have to.
Yeah. Right. And so in helping people initially, like, yo, this is what you need to do. Are you thinking about monetizing this? Are you thinking about this is a media and broadcasting business? This is a business. Right. And so now after that, now I'm like, okay, I didn't even have a website. I didn't have a website, yo. I didn't have a website. This sister, when I tell you, I have never met her in my life.
Right.
I never met her. She lives in Texas. Derek, you need to do a podcast. Derek, you need to do a podcast. She would send me these messages. This is all nice and good. This is all cute. No, you need to do a podcast. I went and bought a mic. I went and bought a mic, yo. Hold on. Where's this mic?
Here it comes.
Oh man. Oh, here we go.
I'm really interested to see this microphone.
I went and bought a mic. Yo, I bought a mic.
That's the mic.
I bought a mic, right? And I put the mic.
Goodness.
I put the mic on the bottom of the phone, right?
Right.
I had to, and Apple. I love Apple, right? But they hit you like, you don't have. You need to get this adapter.
Yeah. That's how Apple does it, bro. Yeah.
Oh, and this adapter would go in there, and I was like, yo, boom, I'm in the house. I got a microphone. I got a microphone. This was my mic. And I was like, oh, that really changed a little bit of stuff. Right. And this is a complete random stranger who I never met her. We've never been in the same, but she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Or I was kind of like, you know what? I don't want podcasting. I remember thinking about that in 2007, and this guy crapped on my idea. I don't want to revisit that. I don't want to revisit that. Like, that the pain of looking at that failure, it's just, you can have these experiences and like, I ain't doing that.
It's only failure if you stop.
If you stop. Yeah. And so this running sort of like jogged some things loose, and it was like, oh, yo, you like talking to people, man. You like podcasting. But I also realized you got to eat. I got to eat.
Yeah,
I got to eat. And this is a business. This is a business, yo. And so when I think of podcasting, right? So these cassettes, right? These cassette tapes of the best of Stan Freberg shows. So they had actual shows, audio, right? So this is a podcast. And I don't particularly like being in front of the camera. Some people do video, boom, and that's cool. Yo, you know how many kids like I want to tell a story. I want to tell an audio story. I want to tell a drama. I want to tell a mystery. Really? Yeah. So you think of a podcast as a like a triangle, right? And the tip of it, just the tip, an iceberg, just the tip is interviews.
Right.
Like we're not even scratching the surface yet.
Speaking of interviews, unfortunately, we're reaching to the end of the broadcast, though. But any advice you want to give out? This is a two-parter, Derek. Any advice you want to just give out to someone who just wants to be in your route, entrepreneur-wise, podcasting-wise? And the second part of this is please give out any social media, anything that relates to your platform that you want to just promote for yourself. And so go right ahead. So
stop with the excuse. If you have something that you want to do, get out there and do it. Right? Just start. Just don't. You can you can talk yourself out of this. Just start. Like pick up the phone. Just start. Right? You can figure out the rest later. Begin with the end in mind. Like, what's my end game? Like, what's the plan? What do you want to do? Because you got to eat, right?
Of course.
Don't try to do it. Don't try to do it yourself. Don't try to do it yourself. Figure out like what you can outsource, right? Don't quit your job too soon, right? Figure out an exit strategy. Use your job to fund your passion, right? So you're going in, you're saying, this is what I want to do. You be able to smile a lot longer. Okay, I'm packing away some money, save some money. You know, don't eat out, budget out your thing, and then put the money towards your business, whatever it is you want to do. Right? Invest in, surround yourself with good people. Get a coach, and a coach, if you can invest in paying someone to coach and mentor and guide you, do that. Or get a book. My theory on books is like invest in a book. This guy went to college. He did all this work. Somebody did the heavy lifting already. Right? They did all that. All right. So now I'm thinking about, you go ahead and do your research. When you're done, bring that book, publish that book. Right. And I can make the small investment of $27. Right. $27, whatever the book is, or get Audible. Right. I can't get Audible. Get a library card. Get a library card and download the books for free. I got a list. You want a list of books that you should probably invest in and listen to while you turn off the TV. There's so many resources. It shouldn't be a reason why, right? So now you have these free resources you can invest in. That's your coach. That's your mentor, right? Apply it. Don't just become an information junkie, right? You're just consuming all this knowledge. Share it, right? I have this four-step process. This is what I help people do. Identify their purpose. And iMac. I'm sorry, I don't have an acronym for Samsung Android users. iMac, right? I help people identify their purpose, maximize their potential, accelerate their growth, and then continue the cycle. The accelerating their growth is connecting with people like yourself, right? You've already done it. Right. You're doing it. Like, what do I need to do? Share it. That way you continue the cycle, because you getting past, that's cool for you. You're eating. Now, how is what we're doing going to continue? You think about legacy, right? You think about legacy. It stops because I don't want to share it. You know what I mean? I got it. And then it's the competition. So iron sharpens iron, right? So you're going to get better. If you're hanging out with somebody and they scrubs and you a scrub, okay, that's gonna suck. Y'all gonna be scrubs for the rest of your life. You wanna advance your game, you gotta step it up. You gotta go to the big boy park. You gotta go to the big boy park. You gotta go and play with other people. It sharpens you. Somebody doesn't want to go. Look at the people that's in your phone. The last 5 people that you reached out to. Are they adding to my life, or are they taking away from my life? You might need to change your circle. I know Drake said no new friends. That sounds good. You might need some new friends. Man.
And I think you might be our new friend as well, too. So just please give us that social media to give to our audience.
Yeah. Behind the Wheel podcast, behind _the_wheel _podcast on Instagram. That's where you can find me. That's where most of my stuff is at, and so it's a pleasure. I appreciate y'all having me on the show, man.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thank you, Derek. We do appreciate you on WNHHLP 103.5 FM.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.